You stand at the foot of the mountain where Jesus spoke words that pierced the human soul and shook the foundation of every worldly kingdom. And he looks at you with eyes of fire and tenderness, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." A shocking truth, because the world glorifies pride, but the secret of heaven rests upon humility that bends the knee before God. You have been taught to chase power, influence, recognition, yet here the Son of God unveils a hidden warning. Your emptiness, your brokenness, your spiritual poverty is the very currency of eternity. The crown of heaven is placed not on the proud head but on the bowed spirit, and when you acknowledge your desperate need, heaven's gate swings open wide before you. You weep in silence over the wounds you carry, and the world mocks your tears as weakness. Yet Christ declares, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." A promise sealed in the blood of Calvary, where every tear becomes a testimony. Do you realize the hidden power of your sorrow? Every cry that breaks from your chest becomes incense rising to the throne, and your mourning is the soil where divine comfort is secretly planted. When you ache and tremble, heaven itself leans down to wipe your tears and whisper that your story is not over. For Romans 8:28 reminds you that all things, yes, even your pain, work together for good to those who love God. The meek are despised by this world, because society worships aggression, domination, and loud voices, but Christ calls the meek the rightful heirs of the earth, not the violent conquerors. You are taught to fight tooth and nail for your place, but here Jesus unveils a kingdom reversal, where the gentle, those who trust God more than their fists, inherit what tyrants can never keep. Do you see the warning? If you live by prideful striving, you lose everything, but if you surrender in meekness, what is yours cannot be taken away. There is a hunger in you that no earthly bread can satisfy, a thirst deeper than the deserts of your soul. And Jesus says, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled." The shocking reality is that every appetite of this world will leave you emptier, whether lust, greed, or ambition. But the secret appetite for holiness brings satisfaction that never fades. Have you wondered why your soul feels restless even after success? It is because you were designed to crave righteousness, and until that fire burns within, your spirit will wander in famine. Mercy is treated like weakness in a world addicted to revenge. Yet Jesus declares, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy." What a frightening warning this is. The measure you use will be measured back to you, and if you withhold mercy, heaven's gates will echo with silence at your cries. When you extend mercy to those who wounded you, you are not excusing their sin, but unlocking a door that keeps judgment from consuming you. For James 2:13 says, "Mercy triumphs over judgment. The pure in heart will see God." A terrifying statement, because it means the impure will not. Do you grasp the weight of that? Every secret lust, every hidden thought, every compromised desire becomes a veil over your eyes, until the face of God is blurred. And Jesus warns that without holiness no one will see the Lord. Yet the promise thunders with hope. If you cleanse your heart, if you let the blood of Christ wash away the stains, you will see him as he is, radiant and unveiled. The peacemakers are not those who avoid conflict out of fear, but those who carry the authority of heaven into chaos. And Jesus says they shall be called children of God. You think your identity is found in possessions or achievements, but the Father himself brands peacemakers with the seal of divine sonship. Every time you heal division, every time you step between hatred with love, you bear his name before a watching world. You are persecuted for righteousness, insulted, mocked, falsely accused, and it feels like a crushing weight. But Christ says, "Rejoice, because your reward is great in heaven." Do not miss this hidden key. Persecution is not proof of God's absence, but of his endorsement upon your life. For the same fire that burned the prophets now burns in you. When they rise against you, heaven rises higher, and every insult thrown at you becomes a stone in the crown awaiting you. You are the salt of the earth. But here is the shocking warning. If the salt loses its flavor, it is good for nothing but to be trampled underfoot. How many believers walk in powerless compromise, tasteless, dull, blending into the world until the only destiny left is to be crushed by the very system they tried to please? Do you not see? Your value is in your distinction, your refusal to dilute the truth, your ability to sting wounds and preserve righteousness in a decaying world. You are the light of the world, and light that hides itself is treason against heaven's purpose. A lamp under a bowl is useless, and a town on a hill cannot be hidden. This is not a suggestion, but a declaration of identity. The terrifying reality is that if you dim your light to please the darkness, you betray your calling, But if you shine boldly, your deeds glorify your Father in heaven. Do not think Christ came to abolish the law, for he came to fulfill it. And until heaven and earth pass away, not one stroke will fail. This is a shocking warning against watered-down faith, for the commands of God stand unbroken and eternal. Whoever breaks them and teaches others to do so will be least in the kingdom, but whoever obeys and teaches will be great. Your destiny hinges upon obedience, not empty words. Unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees, you will not enter the kingdom, and this statement shatters the illusion of religion. Outward ritual, titles, garments, and ceremonies mean nothing if the heart is empty, and Jesus uncovers the hidden truth. Righteousness is not performance but transformation. Can you bear the weight of this? Religion without true holiness is a doorway to hell, disguised as a temple of light. You have heard, do not murder, but Christ exposes the secret thoughts of your heart, saying anger and insult carry judgment as deadly as the blade. When you curse your brother, when you call someone fool, you ignite the fire of hell in your own soul. Shocking, isn't it? Murder begins in the heart, and hatred is a seed that grows into eternal damnation if not cut down. If you bring your gift to the altar, and remember your brother has something against you, leave it, reconcile, then return. Because worship without forgiveness is an abomination. Do you understand the weight of this? God refuses your sacrifice if your heart harbors division, and he commands you to settle matters quickly before the judge condemns you. Reconciliation is not optional. It is a spiritual emergency, a warning from heaven itself. You have heard, do not commit adultery, but Jesus pierces deeper, declaring that even looking with lust commits adultery in the heart. What a terrifying revelation, for millions who think themselves clean are guilty already in secret, bound to hellfire by invisible chains of desire. Do you feel the weight of his words? Lust is not just an act but a thought that can damn a soul. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out. If your hand tempts you, cut it off. For it is better to lose one part than your whole body cast into hell. These words are shocking, but they are truth. Compromise will cost you everything. Do you dare play with sin while Christ calls you to radical purity? Better to live maimed and holy than whole and condemned. It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But Jesus speaks with piercing authority, revealing that divorce outside of sexual immorality makes both the man and the woman guilty of adultery. Do you see the shocking weight of this? What the world treats as casual paperwork, heaven calls covenant-breaking treachery, and every vow uttered before God becomes a bond that angels record and demons exploit. Marriage is not disposable, it is sacred, and tampering with it invites judgment that shakes the soul. Again you have heard, do not break your oath, but keep the vows you make to the Lord. Yet Jesus exposes the vanity of swearing by heaven, earth, Jerusalem, or even your own head, because all of it belongs to God. The truth is so raw and so simple. Let your yes be yes, and your no be no, for anything beyond this flows from the evil one. Do you grasp the urgency? Complicated vows often mask deceit, but a pure heart speaks plainly, and heaven demands truth without manipulation. You have heard it said, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. But Jesus overturns the ancient cycle of vengeance with a shocking command. Do not resist an evil person. If they slap your cheek, offer the other. If they sue for your shirt, give your coat also. If they force you 1 mile, go 2. Do you feel the weight of this reversal? The kingdom's power is not in revenge but in radical surrender, in a mercy that confuses enemies and breaks the chains of hatred. Give to the one who asks. Do not turn away from the one who would borrow. For generosity is the true weapon of heaven against greed and fear. You are taught to hoard, to guard, to clutch your possessions with white-knuckled fists. Yet Christ commands you to open your hand. Do you see the warning? Stinginess blinds your eyes, but generosity opens streams of blessing that no thief or devourer can touch. For Malachi 3:10 promises, the windows of heaven open for those who give. You have heard love your neighbor and hate your enemy, but Jesus tears the veil off this shallow command, revealing the deeper shocking truth. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. What a test of the heart this is. For anyone can love those who love them, but the children of God are marked by supernatural compassion for those who wound them. Can you see it? The Father causes his sun to rise on both evil and good. His rain falls on both righteous and unrighteous. And if you would bear his image, you must reflect that same radical love. If you love only your friends, what reward is there? Even tax collectors do that. If you greet only your own, what difference is there? Even pagans manage that. The hidden warning is this: you were not called to blend into the world, but to stand out with a love so divine it shocks, convicts, and awakens souls. Be perfect, Jesus says, as your Father in heaven is perfect. Not a call to flawlessness, but to completeness, a wholeness of love that reflects the heart of God. But here lies the terrifying edge. Perfection cannot be humanly achieved. It is only birthed by surrender to the Spirit of God. The Pharisees tried with laws, rituals, appearances, yet failed, because true perfection is birthed from Christ within you. Do you understand the mystery? It is no longer you who live, but Christ who lives in you, and apart from him you can do nothing. John 15:5. The warning echoes clear. Self-righteousness leads to pride, but spirit righteousness leads to eternal life. And so Jesus speaks to you directly through this sermon, stripping away your masks, exposing your secret sins, confronting your hidden anger, unveiling your silent lust, calling you to radical mercy, uncompromising purity, relentless generosity, and shocking love. Every sentence is a sword that cuts away your excuses, every command a fire that burns your complacency, every warning a trumpet that shakes your soul awake. Do you not see? This is not gentle advice, but the constitution of heaven, the laws of eternity breaking into time, the voice of God commanding you to live differently. You are confronted with a choice now. Will you cling to the shallow religion of appearances, swearing oaths while hiding lies, condemning others while excusing yourself, shining faintly while the world drowns in darkness? Or will you step into the fire of Christ's words, allowing his Spirit to make you salt that stings and preserves, light that burns and reveals, love that shatters hatred? The secret truth is this: the kingdom is given to the poor in spirit, to the mourners, to the meek, to the hungry for righteousness, to the merciful, to the pure, to the peacemakers, and to the persecuted, who rejoice in the face of suffering. You cannot escape the weight of his command. Be reconciled, be merciful, be pure, be holy, be radical in love, be unyielding in truth, be shocking in grace. Do you hear the urgency in his tone? This is not suggestion, this is eternal destiny speaking. Heaven and hell hang in the balance, and the Sermon on the Mount is the dividing line, the fiery call that shakes the nations. So now, what will you do? Will you walk away unchanged, letting the salt of your life lose its taste, until you are trampled by the world you tried to please? Or will you rise as light in the darkness, a lamp unhidden, a city on a hill, blazing with the fire of Christ's commands? The world is watching, the angels are recording, and the Father is waiting for your answer. The shock of Matthew 5 is not in its beauty, but in its demands. For these words are not poetry, but prophecy, not suggestion but judgment, not comfort alone, but confrontation. Yet within every command is a hidden promise. Mercy awaits the merciful, vision awaits the pure, inheritance awaits the meek, comfort awaits the mourning, and eternal crowns await the persecuted. Do you see the paradox? The way down is the way up. The broken are the blessed, the empty are the filled, the hated are the honored. Therefore let these words pierce you now. Anger is as murder, lust is as adultery, oaths are vanity, retaliation is forbidden, love must embrace even enemies, perfection is demanded, reconciliation is urgent, mercy is required, righteousness is uncompromising. Do not dismiss this as an old sermon on a Galilean hillside, for it is God's eternal decree echoing into your soul today. The same voice that called creation into being is the same voice saying, "Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect." And now you stand with no excuse, no middle ground, no neutral territory. The warning is clear. The blessings are offered, the judgments are real, and the invitation is extended. What will you choose? To live by anger, lust, pride, vengeance, and empty religion? Or to embrace meekness, mercy, purity, love, and the radiant call to shine as light in a darkened world? The Sermon on the Mount is your crossroads. The hidden truths have been unveiled, the shocking warnings declared, the blessings revealed, and the eternal demand placed upon your shoulders. Choose this day whom you will serve, for to ignore these words is to reject the very King who spoke them. But if you bow, if you surrender, if you embrace them with trembling faith, you will inherit what the world cannot give and what hell cannot steal. So let your heart tremble now. Let your pride be shattered. Let your sins be exposed. And let the fire of Christ's voice burn into your soul until you rise as salt and light, until you love the unlovable, forgive the unforgivable, endure the unbearable, and reflect the Father's perfection in a broken world. For great is your reward in heaven, and terrible is the judgment for those who ignore him. This is not merely a sermon, it is your sentence, your summons, your salvation, and your warning. And the voice of Christ still cries from the mountainside. Blessed are you, if you will believe, if you will obey, if you will let your light shine until the whole world sees and glorifies your Father in heaven.